Hi everyone, I'm Farisha Shukur and you're watching Inspiring Series with Farisha, and today we have a special guest with us. It's Muhammad Izzairi Yamin. Hi Izzairi. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Yeah, how is your fasting month going?
So far, so good. Like normal, not like normal day.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, that's good to hear. And how are you coping with the MCO?
We have, in terms of the company direction, we have changed a bit lah. We have changed a bit. We have tweaked a bit in certain areas. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks pretty good after a few days of running it, and then we are adapting to the new ways of doing things.
Okay, and for the first question, can you tell us more about yourself? What do you do?
Okay, my name is Izzairi, Yamin, as you all know. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm the CEO and founder of Zepto Express. So
Okay.
before starting Zepto Express, I was a software. After graduating, I graduated in computer science
Mm-hmm.
study, and I worked as a software developer. Okay, doing banking solutions, insurance applications. Okay, and after that, I moved into drones. Okay, I moved into drones. I was
Mm-hmm.
working with a German company called iBotics. Okay, I was
Mm,
the CTO. I was the CTO in that company. Okay, based in
okay.
Kassel. Okay,
Okay.
and after that, I started my own software house. I
Mm-hmm.
did a lot of software development for the government. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of MNC companies. Okay, I can. One of them is like maybe I can say like Matre, Maida for the for the Ministry of Education.
Mm.
Some of the softwares like for MKN to forecast the election. You know, and
Okay, that's
to do
very
some
interesting.
to do
Yes.
some simulation. So after that, I felt that I was not doing enough. I wanted to build a software that is being used by the public, and
Mm-hmm.
then I, I I had an incident where I wanted to buy batteries for my drone.
Okay.
Okay, then I called the shop and I asked the shopkeeper whether I would be making it in time. Because at that time, apparently, I was staying in Bangi. So
Mm-hmm.
I called the shopkeeper at 8 p.m. And his shop is located at Paradigm Mall. So, and he was saying,
Mm.
I might not make it in time because on that day it's on a Friday night. So
Mm-hmm.
he said he might be closing his shop soon. So after that, he told me to, purchase online through his e-commerce. And
Mm-hmm.
he promised that the battery, because I purchased a battery for my drone, I wanted to purchase a battery lah. So he
Mm-hmm.
was saying that why not you just purchase it online and tomorrow we'll deliver to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the purchase online, 400
Okay.
ringgit for the battery and
Okay.
38 ringgit for the delivery. So upon doing that, uh, he called me and he was saying that, oh, boss, sorry, because tomorrow the courier companies will only be coming and performing the pickup. There's no delivery on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah.
So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
you will be receiving your goods on Monday. So I was really frustrated with the
Mm-hmm.
situation. I was
Based on
thinking, why
personal experience, right? Mm.
there's no delivery that follows the customer's time? Now the customers need to follow the courier's time, which is not right. You as a
Yeah.
customer, you have the rights, right?
Right.
You need to have the option. If you are willing to pay more, okay, you
Yeah.
should be getting better service. So I was really frustrated, and I shared this idea with my co-founders. And before starting Zepto Express, we started a startup called Postal Express.
Mm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that was in 2015, and then we had some problems, problems with the founders among us. So we are unable to jive. Okay, and I decided to move on separately. I built everything. I did a rebrand. I did a new corporate structure on my company,
Mm-hmm.
and there you go, Zepto Express. And basically, the name Zepto Express, it has a meaning. It's
Yeah.
not just for you to pronounce Zepto. It's a mathematical term, okay,
Okay.
which is used. Okay, if you know mega, you know kilo, you know nano, that's also
Yeah.
Zepto. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's basically used to measure the speed of light.
Okay.
So
That's
when
interesting.
you wanna use it, you will say the lightning speed is in 5 zeptosecond. So that's how we got the name Zepto. We want to portray the speediness of our service, and we want to emphasize how efficient delivery can be done.
Wow, that's a visionary right there. So I can tell that you're very passionate in your business, in your line of work from telling me your story. And I agree with you just now, like customer is right. Whenever you want to deliver that parcel, it has to be during the customer's time. And then sometimes, like it get delayed and then wrong timing. So I really agree with you on that. Okay, and moving on to the next question. What is the biggest challenge that you overcome in your career?
Okay, I think challenges come in a different way, depending on the stage that you're in when you're running a business. Okay, during the early stage, I think we had a lot of problems. I think we have multiple kind of problems. Okay,
Yes.
We have problems with the team. Number one, with the team, that means you need to find a team who is able to work like according to your standards. Okay, to have the same understanding among the team members, and to dedicate most of their time passionately in building the product. Okay, because you need to know when you want to start a business, you need to sacrifice a lot of things,
Yes.
like your time, like your time with your family, like your personal time. So a lot of things is considered important, especially the time during the early stage in building a startup. So and then comes the problem like funding. You need to get funding,
Yes.
right? Because without funding, it will not give you the adrenaline, okay, to make you get up from bed every morning. Okay,
You need
so
something that drives you. Yeah.
correct. Because at the end of the month, you still have bills to pay. You still have a lot of commitment. So running a startup, even though how passionate you are, you still need to know that you need funding to even run or start the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think these are the main common problems. And the third one is market access, market penetration. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry can open up a business. Opening up a business is very simple. Anyone can just register a company, but to have a market access, to go to market, it's not easy. Everyone I think faces the same song or the same problem. Whenever they want to penetrate market, they find it hard. So I think that's some of the challenges that people face during or when they want to start a company.
And how do you overcome those challenges and your team? So your teamwork is very important. So the dedication from your team, from your staff, from the management, how important that is for you?
Okay, I think it's very important for us. I think we've failed the first time, but I think entrepreneurs should be allowed to fail. Okay, but they need to understand why they fail.
It's
okay?
all trial and error. It's like an experiment. Yeah.
Correct.
So
basically,
if you don't get it the first time, it's okay. It's all trial and error. It's a process, right? Yeah.
Correct. So basically, for me, we've failed the first time under Posto Express, but it's okay because we took that valuable lesson and we improved further in Zepto Express. So I think during the early stage, we had problem with dedication, dedication of the team members towards this building this project. So and the second thing, I think it's not easy for an early stage company to raise funding. So until I met a mentor, okay, basically he taught me how to build a proper pitch deck. I was telling him my problem, the problems that we are facing. I told him that it's not easy to get investors in this early stage. So he was telling me, this is all what do you call it? This is all excuses, okay? Because how could it, he was giving me an example, like how can a salesman sells houses which is not even ready, but he managed to sell everything off through a brochure. So he said, that shows that salesman is very passionate and he's he is really good in doing sales. He managed to convince people to even buy that house, even though the house is not built yet. Okay, so he taught me a lot of things. He taught me about company structures. I think a lot of startup founders will also have problems, not only in setting up the company, but also having not enough knowledge, like doing their financial roadmap, and then doing their forecasting, doing their accounts, doing their
The
prediction.
paperwork, yeah.
Yes. Because whenever you get a funding, you need to know how long can your company last, what's the runway like, right? So a lot of things I think is important. A lot of element is important for a company founder to understand prior starting up a company.
Yes.
So I think you need to get a mentor. You need to get a mentor. You need to learn from those experienced people, so you do not have to go the same hurdle like everyone has already gone through. So you can shorten down the time a bit, because now we are in a world of information. So information can be achieved or can be retrieved from the net or from books. Okay, where you can shorten down the failing processes.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. Everyone need a mentor.
Correct.
Any industries, any profession. So, for example, I'm in the education and training industry. I too have a mentor. I have a mentor and I have a teacher to guide me. And I think it's really important, not just in, in startup, any industries, you need someone to guide you. And that is really important. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, and moving on to the next question. What would be your advice out there for the fresh graduate and also youth?
For the fresh graduates and youths, okay. Basically, I know fresh graduates, they have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of things going in their mind. When they watch the movies like Silicon Valley, when they watch the movie like The Social Network, like how Mark Zuckerberg turn his life into into something else, right? Okay, so from a dorm they build things, and suddenly, so a lot of people, they might think it's that easy, okay, but eventually it's not. Okay, in reality, it depends on your luck as well, and the timing as well, and also how good is your product. Is there any demand? Is there any urgency in your products, okay, or your services that you're going to offer? So basically, to understand things well, understand the market that they're going to penetrate in. They need to understand the industry, who's their competitors, because I think a lot of young entrepreneurs, when I mentor some of them, like some events in by the startup community, like startup weekends, or Google alongside with Techstars. So I've mentored a lot. And I found out that these young entrepreneurs, they have the adrenaline, they have the drive, but without having sufficient knowledge, without having the right direction, they seem to be a bit lost. Okay, so I think for those who are in the youth, still in the youth, and those fresh graduates, okay,
millennials.
The millennials, yeah. Okay, what they need to do is that they need to learn. They need to go. For me, my personal opinion, they have to go to work. They have to find a suitable company that suits their passion. Do not care much about the salary. Don't care much about the salary. Focus on the things that they are willing to take, okay, like gaining more experience, getting more knowledge, okay, understanding the whole processes, understanding what is needed in an organization. So if it's how do I say, if it's also best for them to work with a startup before going to corporate, because startup, you will be exposed to a lot of things, a lot of a lot of division in the company, okay, where you will have easy access within the company, and you will have direct access to the founder. Okay, where the founder, normally the founders in the startup, they will have their experience running a company. They have their past experience working in an organization. So you have direct access, and which you can also treat the founder as your mentor. So I think these youth or fresh graduates, they should really take advantage of the of the situation where I think nowadays there's a lot of startup. When I started my first startup, I started in 2011. At that time, I think there's not,
There's not
people
many.
are,
Yeah.
yeah, there's not many. Most of them are running like a traditional business, which is not even exponential. Okay, so I think the startup scene in Malaysia grew heavily in 2015.
Yeah.
So I think that's my advice to the youth out there, to basically understand, get more experience, get more exposure, build the connection, okay? And then you may start your own journey running a startup.
Yes, the important is gaining the experience, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes, gaining the experience, gaining the knowledge, and then only when they feel that the time is right, and then they can also explore to, venture to entrepreneurship and also, like you were saying, the startup
Yeah.
journey. Okay, and for the next question, what are the productive and positive things that people can do at home during MCO? So we know right now, everyone, not just everyone in Malaysia, yeah, I think everybody in the whole world, due to coronavirus, so everyone is feeling uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And a lot of people are depressed and also sad by the fact that we don't know what's going to happen down the line, right? So it's really important to have a positive mindset, even though we are in a negative situation. So, for example, positive, how do you want to think positive? How do you want to switch from negative thinking to positive? So, what would be your advice as an entrepreneur, as a startup entrepreneur, and also your personal views? How can people remain positive, remain strong, and remain resilient during these tough times? I know it's not easy. It's not easy for everybody, but I truly believe that everyone can get through it if we develop a positive mindset and a positive thinking. So what would be your point of view and advice?
Okay, my point of view is that people, they should they should understand what's going on with this situation out there. They should be alert with the news. They should be alert what to do, what not to do. Okay, they should be following and obey the guidelines set by the government, or there's a lot of opinion regarding what you should do outside, what you should not do. I think these are the main guidelines that people should follow. And when the government has set a guideline imposing MCO, when you should stay at home, that means you should follow and stay at home. And not everybody is comfortable with that, especially the business owners.
Yeah, so it's not easy for everybody. Yeah.
Yes, because I think a lot of business owners who are running traditionally their businesses, they do feel the pinch. They do feel, the problems that that everyone is facing. So I think that it's important to have a clear mindset, to have the positive vibe, and you should build it, because positive vibe does not come automatically. You should build the positive vibe. So I think you have to be having a centric minded. Okay, try to plan, try to discuss with your team, try to discuss with your family. Okay, what is needed and what should be done during these hard times, because everyone is under the same storm, but
everyone in the same boat. Yeah,
under
everyone is in the same situation, right?
Yes. So I love the quote I read on Facebook. We are under the same storm. We are in the same storm, but under different boats. Where I understand that everyone has their own problems. Everyone has their own ways of doing things. Everyone has their own. Everything is on our own. Okay, so for me, like how we overcome. I think during the first early days when we received this news that lockdown has been set, that there's a strict rules on this in terms of your movement. So I
Yeah.
think we were impacted heavily during the first few days. Okay,
Yes, and a
so
lot of people were shocked because when they heard the news from the Prime Minister, because we have to get ready, right? So let's say if
yes,
we're working
correct.
from home, we have to bring our laptops and our things at home, and we have to start, working from home. So the operations, everything has to be, yeah,
Yes.
everything just like changes. Yeah, so we need to adapt to the changes.
Yes. So basically, what we did was that we had to stop down all our services from our warehouse. We have a warehouse where
Mm-hmm.
all the goods, like some of our big clients like DG, Walt Disney, so they have
Mm-hmm.
requested to
Yeah.
stop because the cinema is not actually running. So we are handling the merchandising for Walt Disney for years since we started. So I think Walt Disney is one of our big client. Okay, so and when they ordered for us to stop delivering, so it
Mm.
basically impacted because I think
Yeah.
they are on a regular basis where we
Mm-hmm.
do deliver from the warehouse that they have stored in our warehouse, and we perform the delivery quite regularly every week. Okay, on the
Mm-hmm.
merchandising.
Yeah.
This problem occurs, I think we had a really big problem, and I think our warehouse is not active. In our warehouse, when our warehouse is not active, our delivery are basically affected. Okay, so we try to come up with a solution because
Mm-hmm.
Zepto Express, we focus a lot on SMEs, on corporates. We don't focus much on public, on individual
So
customer.
it's more
Okay,
on B2B. Yeah.
B2B a lot. Yeah, we do B2B a lot. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then uh, a lot of industry affected, which also impacts Zepto Express because we are a very business centric kind of segment. Okay, that we are focusing. So I think the whole team basically panicked because nothing is moving for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of days. We do have individual customers, but that's not our main forte. Our main forte is still business. So what we did was that we figure out a way how to tackle this issue to basically subsidize or substitute the correct word substitute jobs coming from our warehouse to feeding the customer, feeding our riders in a different way. So what we
Yeah.
did is that we set up a grocery store on
Mm-hmm.
Zepto Express. Okay, it's called Zepto Store. Okay,
Online. Yeah.
online. Okay, so basically we work we've done everything quickly. I think the
Mm-hmm.
turnaround time was like 2 to 3 days. We've
Mm-hmm.
set up everything, so it's like a hackathon mode for the whole team, and we work, with sleepless nights, just to get this thing up and running. So we do not care much about the interface, the colors, how beautiful can the site be. So that was our second priority. The main priority was to get the site up and running
Mm-hmm.
and get the business up and running soon, as
Mm-hmm.
fast as possible. So we did that, I think, in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
The site was up and running, and we've received, I think, a tremendous what do you call it, visits from the customers and
Mm-hmm.
also people who purchase from Zepto store. So I think it was a great a project that we've managed to get it up and running in a short time. And the best thing, we did not spend any money on marketing that much. I think it's more towards what do you call it, words of mouth, and also people who spread the news through WhatsApp, through Facebook. So through that channel, even through that channel, we are seeing there's a sudden spike
Mm-hmm.
from day to day, which I think we are having problems in terms of delivering, until up to that stage. So I think the most important key lesson here is whenever you have a problem, you have to relax. You have to
Mhm.
analyze what's going on. You have to have more insights on the current situation. You need
Mhm.
to listen to news. You need to know what's the pain point the market is facing. You need to know what's the pain point the customers are facing. Okay, so once you understand that, then you need to discuss with your team members or with the
Mhm.
family in order what's next, right? What's next or what needs to be done next. So
Mm.
I think
What's the action plan next?
yes,
Yeah. What is the
yes,
strategy moving forward? Yeah.
yes. I think only through proper and through proper discussion,
Mm-hmm.
discussing with people, you'll be able to calm yourself down and also to maintain to have a centric minded, because at this time you need to have a very clear mind and not to be stressed at this point of time, because as we know the economy now is we are in the recession time, but it's not a
Yes.
normal recession. Okay, it's a recession plus pandemic virus.
New
Okay, which
normal.
yeah, so it's a recession plus pandemic virus. I think which it impacts. It has a better a, a terrible impact to the economy. Okay, in the
Mhm.
long run. So I do see that this might be be a problem to the companies, to the people in the next 6 months or maybe 1 year down the road. Because at the moment it's only like 2 months, okay, and I think some people they still have enough cash reserve to be spending out. But I think in the next 6 months, things might be out of control, where more companies might be closing down, okay, due to the uncertainty of the economy. So when that happens, a lot more
Mhm.
people will be jobless. So
Mhm.
in terms of certain industry, yes, a lot of people will be jobless, but certain industry will still be surviving. Okay,
Mhm.
during this hard time. So I think a lot
Mhm.
more people will be jobless. If you see the statistic in America, okay,
Mhm.
the jobless statistic is very high from day to day. Okay, so this is not only going to happen in America, but most of the country basically. So
Okay.
are we prepared enough so to face the next 6 months or the next 1 year? So I think we should be focusing more on that rather than being very emotional at this point of time, rather than being stressed at this point of time. Better use that time to think of anything that we can do in order to increase productivity and also to improve our economy.
Mhm. Exactly, Zairi. I agree with you. And we need to innovate. Yeah.
Yes,
We need to elevate, we need to innovate, and we have to move forward. Yeah, move
correct.
forward. So even though that we are in the difficult phase right now, not just in Malaysia, everywhere all around the world, but we have to keep moving forward and plan ahead, strategize. I know it's not easy, but it's possible with a positive mindset. So you have to put your mind to it. So it's all in the mind, right? So you have
Yes,
to focus, and if you have a driven mindset, you have that positivity within you, you can strategize and plan ahead. So even though that the situation right now is, we are, you're right, we are in a recession and also in the pandemic new normal, but there are ways to overcome it. There are ways to come up with, strategies. There are ways to shift your mindset and try other methods that can make your business work. Yeah. Okay, and before we end the show, would you have any advice, anything that you would like to share with our audience?
I think I would like to share some tips to the new startups. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's a summarize of what I've gone through and most startups have gone through. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, before starting a company, they need to know a few key elements. Okay, few key elements like what are they building? Okay, and is there urgency or demand from the market?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there a market fit for whatever they are building, and
Mm-hmm.
understand the market size. How big is the market size? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and understand the competitors. because a lot of startup, when I talk to them, they were saying I got no competitors. So basically, they might. It seems like they do not understand the market well if they are saying there's no competitors. Basically, most of the business today should have competitors. Okay, unless if you're building a car to Mars, it's different. If you're being the next Elon Musk, it's different. So
Yeah.
understand your competitors well. Okay, understand your basic fundamental of finance. Okay, in order to start the company. So I think I would like to use this session to share this message to the startups out there, to the new startups, the upcoming startups out there, to really understand all these important key points, and to always have a very positive, have the drive, have the adrenaline, okay, in building whatever you're building. Because when you build a startup, you will only have the adrenaline last for the first few months, okay. For the first 3 to 6 months, you have the full power or the full energy in you to run the company. And after that, you might lose some of the powers. So I hope that the startup to be very consistent in whatever you're building and understand the business well. You need to be a subject matter expert of that business. Even you're not, you need to understand, learn from people, and be a subject matter expert. Because without you being the subject matter expert, you will never be able to run that company. So, I think like a lot of startup founders that I know, they are not even in the industry that they are in right now. Okay, so they had to take the trouble to understand and learn. Okay, whatever ventures that they are venturing in. So I would like to take I would like to say that they have to understand things, observe, listen, and get a good mentor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Izzairi Yamin, for sharing your thoughts and also your point of view, and also sharing on your career journey and also advice for startup entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for being with us today on my inspiring series. And how do people can get in touch with you? What is your Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn?
Okay, they can find me on LinkedIn. I do not use any nickname. It's under my real name, Muhammad Izzairi Yamin. And they can also find me on Facebook with my real name as well. Also on Twitter. Okay, but for my Instagram, I think I'm using a different name. So that one is more like a personal kind of space. So if you want to reach out through my LinkedIn, you are more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Izari. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you. Stay safe, take care, and selamat buka puasa. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Alicia.